Hey gang, welcome back to Deltia's Gaming's ongoing video guide, Dragonknights Don't Die. This is part 2 of our ongoing series, Dragonknight Skills. In this episode we're going to cover basically the Dragonknight skills and outside of skills that can augment the Dragonknight's weakness. If you remember from part 1 of our series, Dragonknights are nearly unkillable. They really excel at fire damage, high burst. They have great utility for a group and are always great to bring along in any adventure. But they have some limited range, they're not exactly the best healers, and they're not exactly the fastest class. They really excel at tank, survivability, and high fire damage with the destruction staff. But not only are we going to show you the Dragonknight's abilities alone, we're also going to show you some outside skill lines that can give you a little more speed, a little bit better healing, or even, whatever else you can think of to make the Dragonknight the best class for you. So stay tuned, let's get going. The first tree in the Dragonknight skill tree is the Ardent Flame skill tree. This is focused on flame damage and the Dragonknight's high damage per second or DPS ability. It doesn't have a whole lot of protection, but it has massive damage. Combined with the destruction staff, you'll destroy everything. The Dragonknight's ultimate Standard of Might is an area damage and damage reduction ability that's placed in a circle at your location. Typically I root enemies with burning talons, drop the standard, and let them all burn. I take the Standard of Might morph because I don't really need mobility and it's not an important factor. Extended Change is a pull target skill that does a small amount of damage. In PvP it's huge, so you use that in combination with Burning Talons to lock down an enemy. Use Fossilize and they're not moving. I take Extended Change because range is king and I want more of it. Unstable Flame is a single target DPS flame damage over time. This skill is the middle part of my rotation after I prime them with the Unstable Flame to get more damage out of fire. I take this because our Dragon's Blood is such a better self-heal that I don't feel it's needed, so take this and have high single target damage. Engulfing Flame is the Dragonknight's strong AoE damage ability. I like this because it gives the fire damage increase over time and has a good dot. So I take that morph since all my damage is pretty much fire damage. Molten Whip is another single target flame damage ability that can set targets off balance and provide a passive boost to Ardent Flame abilities. I use this with Burning Talons to set enemies off balance and stun them. I take Molten Whip because it does provide a passive damage boost. Flames of Oblivion is an awesome AoE damage critical hit buff that drains your magic over time. I use this with a Sword and Shield soloing for extra damage, or with the Destruction Staff and Spell Symmetry to gain magic back, though you have to have a healer. Flames of Oblivion morph is a great choice because you gain crit damage, and crit damage doesn't have diminishing returns. The second tree in the Dragonknight skill tree is the Draconic Power skill tree, focused on survivability with two huge abilities, Dragon's Blood, which is your self-heal, and Talons. This is your lockdown ability. This is what really makes the Dragonknight almost unkillable. The Draconic Power Dragon Leap, morphed into Take Flight, is the DK's real high ranged ability that has a stun. I take the extra range because it's always good in PvP, though I stick with the Dragonknight standard as my main. Volatile Armor is an AoE damage and damage return armor buff. This is a very strong ability combined with light armor can give you the soft cap and armor to make anyone stable. I take the Volatile Armor morph because it does little AoE damage when activating, and also I try to use it when I'm tanking to get uphill enemies' attention. Burning Talons is a lifeblood of Dragonknight tanking. This is a must to use to control on the battlefield. I use this tanking to control up to 6 targets and also to peel for my healers or do damage. It generates damage over time through an AoE dot at the end, so you get tons of ultimate regeneration. Keep using this up and combine it with the standard for massive destruction. Dragon's Blood morphed into Green Blood is another massive ability that uses your health pool remaining and heals you based on what you have left. It also takes a Green Blood morph and gives you stamina and health regeneration to make sure you hit the soft cap. Keep this spamming when you get low health and you will not die. Dragonfire skill is a decent spell reflect, though it has a very short window of 4 seconds, so usually I take another ability, Range Magicka, instead of this. Just if you do use it, take the morph to get extra spell resistance. Deep Breath is an AoE damage and self-heal ability that I rarely use. It does moderate damage, and also you can't gain more magic than you use. So I take the Deep Breath morph mainly as a stun versus a self-heal, because Green Blood's so powerful. Last skill tree for the Dragonknight is the Earthen Heart skill tree. This is the DK's group utility. Earthen Heart centers around group buffs and crowd control. So basically you want to augment this with your other damage ability and survivability trees to make the most out of the class. Magma Shell is my go-to tanking ultimate that has a great group synergy if things go bad. Save this for when your healers goes down to survive up for 10 seconds. I take the Magma Shell morph for added group utility. Odyssean Shard is a decent beginner stun that doesn't do anything exceptional. It's a 4-second stun with decent range, though I take something else later on in the game, so I would suggest staying away from this ability unless you need it early on. Igneous Weapon is a group flame damage ability and a good one to bring to a larger group. I use it on my secondary bar prior to a long engagement. I also use the morph weapon damage because it lasts for the whole duration. Igneous Shield is a group health point shield based on the caster's magic. As a DK tank, I can get up to a 400 point shield, and that's pretty useful to take pressure off my healer. Though I don't see the utility in a huge group because it's not that strong compared to a heal. Fossilize is a single target, deceptively powerful CC because it does have a healing debuff. So in PvP I use this as a prime target to get them debuffed and then ready to get locked down and destroyed. I'll take the Fossilize because it's one of the only healing debuffs in the game currently, so use it in PvP or when you're locking down a target. Cinderstorm is a powerful AoE damage, snare, and mischance buff. This paired with the medium armor ability Elude gives a huge resistance to attacks. Take it. Well, that's it for the Dragonknight skill lines. Hope you enjoyed that. But we haven't covered everything. We've still got some good CCs, some speed, and also some healing that can really augment the Dragonknight's weaknesses. Let's see how we use these. Volcanic Rune is an AoE 4-second stun placed in the ground. This is probably the best stun in the game and is a must take for anyone in the game. Take it and use it often. Elemental Ring is a big time damage area ability with an extra dot. I usually start this with Engulfing Flames and just cast this over and over for max damage. Retreating Maneuver is an AoE speed buff and snare removal that can be used on a group. Take it, because you can move fast. When I said DKs couldn't heal, just spam Grand Heal and you'll be able to heal just fine. Remember when I said our Dragonknight spell reflect wasn't good? Harness magic is very good. It's based on your light armor and can stack up to a huge amount, plus give you magic in return. Take this. Inner Beast is an amazing range taunt with a decent synergy. I take this over the stamina producing taunt because I like the range and it's a cheap cost. So take this if you're looking for a range taunt. Silver Shards is an awesome stamina ability that can instantly kill Daedra. I take this throughout the game to make leveling a lot easier, and for dolmens. Unstoppable is a heavy armor ability that provides immunity to CC. This is a must-have in PvP, and also gives you higher armor and spell resistance. So if you're wearing light armor and don't use stam, use this for extra protection. Spell Symmetry is a life tap to get magic back. If you're using it, make sure you have a healer handy or you may just life tap yourself to death. So thanks for watching this episode. As Dragonknight have amazing abilities, and what you don't have you can get another skill tree. So basically it is the best class in my opinion to play, or at least the most fun for me. You'll start seeing your friends try to re-roll Dragonknight after seeing all what you can do with Green's Blood, Talons, retreating maneuvers, and just rolling around the battlefield unstoppable. Thanks, and feel free to subscribe to this episode or other ones. And next week, or a couple weeks from now, we're going to talk about gear and finally loadouts. Thanks for watching this video. Check me out on deltiasgaming.com or Deltias Gaming on Twitter.